All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of House of the Dragon. This for episode 6 now, The Princess and the Queen. Alright dudes, so I want to go ahead and continue along with our reviews for the HBO original House of the Dragon, now up to episode 6, and I think there's supposed to be 10 episodes for this first season. The show has been confirmed for a second season. We'll see how many seasons House of the Dragon gets, but it's off to an awesome start. Everybody who I've talked with online really seems to like House of the Dragon. Thinks it is a good spin-off series for Game of Thrones, for A Song of Ice and Fire, and a good prequel series, and I definitely agree. Favorite show on right now till The Walking Dead's final 8 episodes airs this weekend. So we'll see for episodes 7 to 10 if we're going to do reviews for all of them. I probably will, but they might be like midweek because Walking Dead will be on at the same time. But yeah, so in this episode, The Princess and the Queen, we get somewhat of a time skip, which it wasn't really totally unexpected for me because I did have people telling me that they were recasting Rhaenyra, recasting Alicent, and some of the others. And I was like, oh, why would they recast? And then they said there's a time skip. So I was like, oh, darn. So they become like kind of instantly older. Now, time skips are a little bit tricky. This season of House of the Dragon, I feel like they may have done... I almost feel like they might have done too many time skips already. Like it feels like they've done a good number of them already. But at the same time, it feels like they are kind of... It feels different from the original Game of Thrones because of all these time skips. It kind of feels like you're sort of watching kind of a character focus or, progression through time of the characters that we see in House of the Dragon. But in some ways, it's really cool because it kind of feels like if there was nothing really that notable that happened in between, then they just skipped it, right? They just skipped ahead to where things got interesting again. So instead of kind of keeping us in kind of some of the slower moments and such, they just skip ahead to the next big events, the next big things that are happening for our Targaryen and other, forefront characters. So in this one, we get some good stuff happening, kind of a childbirthing, focus in the episode of a boy being born with Rhaenyra, who the actress for Rhaenyra, it kind of fits, but it also kind of throws me off, if you guys know what I mean. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the recastings. I feel like they chose a couple for Alicent and Rhaenyra. They chose a couple of actresses that look mostly like the younger versions, but almost not quite. Like it's close. Like you can look at them and see like, okay, this is probably what they would look like after a certain amount of time. I don't see any way that you could really work around it because you are making significant time skips in between some of these episodes. So I guess it just makes sense I kind of had to do that. It's what it is. But I'm also not really a fan of recasting that much because it never quite fits perfectly just right. If you get somebody who looks like very similar, but it's always tricky. The Rhaenyra one kind of throws me off. I have to say in my mind as I'm watching it, oh, right, this is Rhaenyra, because she just doesn't quite look the same way as the younger version of Rhaenyra did. For Alicent, also, I feel like just the way my mind interprets them, the Alicent, after the time skip, looks more like the younger version, I think, than Rhaenyra does, but that's just the way, that's probably subjective. In terms of what happens in the episode, though, this is a really good episode, another good one, and Daemon as well is in this one too, and again, kind of a focus on childbirthing and some stuff. So we get to see more dragons, which is really impressive. How many dragon scenes we get in the first season of this series? A lot. We kind of get the sense it's sort of been peacetime, but there is some stuff brewing with the Triarchy, and they're going to visit Pentos and with Daemon and his wife and kids. And Pentos, there's a man there trying to get him to fight for them, that kind of thing, and do a deal with Daemon, who's kind of seems like he's interested, but doesn't 100% commit to it. And then spoilers to follow, spoiler warning, by the end of the episode we see Lena is her name, I believe, and she has a problem with childbirthing and ends up getting herself kind of suicided by dragon, having the dragon Dracarys, having it light her on fire, and to end her life, I guess, because it didn't, the pregnancy went bad or whatever. So kind of some sad stuff there. But again, we're just going through time skips, so don't really feel that familiar with some of these characters. Don't really feel that much of an emotional attachment to them. Their character deaths in the episodes, but we didn't really spend that much time with them, so it doesn't feel like a major character death or anything, even though it kind of should be. Just different vibes, different feels from the original Game of Thrones, where something like that might be like a season finale or episode leading up to the season finale, second last episode of the season. So it's what it is with this one. Whatever. It's it's a little sad, I guess, but we don't have that much connection to the characters. It's still getting started first season anyway. So we have that. The other big concentration of the episode is we have Rhaenyra. So I like what they did with Rhaenyra in this season. Is really cool because they marry her to a gay guy. So so they kind of have worked out a deal here where they have this kind of fake marriage on for the public. And then you have Rhaenyra, who kind of sleeps with whoever she wants. She kind of whores around, right? And it doesn't really have a steady husband, which even like earlier on we thought maybe that would be Christian and that would be like whatever. But no, even that doesn't seem like that's been necessarily the case, even though like going into this episode I thought that's probably what we would see. But we get the sense that after the time skip, the two of them are like so-so on so-so terms. And not so bad that Rhaenyra would have him fired or anything or get rid of him. But at the same time, like he kind of figures out in the episode that a couple of the other kids that she's had in the meantime are from one of the Strongs, which is another house in this one that has a big concentration with Larys Strong and Hand of the King, and then also the one that is with Rhaenyra that's had the kids with Rhaenyra. So big question in this one, kind of a build-up of who will be taking the throne. Will it be, and I think there's Aegon in this one too, who's like a kid at this time, teenager, and he's just coming up. Christian's doing some sword training with him and stuff like that, and this one's some cool stuff with the dragons. And so you have the kids starting to kind of come of age, they're starting to grow and everything. And we have the build-up of who it would be. And Rhaenyra kind of skips town, right? She goes to Dragonstone with her husband and everything just to get out of there because she's worried the queen will, have her killed. And we see with Larys that her suspicions or her fears may have been justified because with Larys he decides to basically kill the other Strongs that go back to Harrenhal. So it's pretty good. It's a good kind of ending to the episode, and I thought it was, again, it's just one episode, but I think that they have done a really good job with House of the Dragon, where each episode feels pretty epic in and of itself. This one, very good to continue. Not my favorite episode they've done so far, but I'll give it an 8.7 out of 10. I thought it was a really awesome episode again, and just continuously strong, and skipping, any filler stuff that would just fill time, getting right to the good stuff, and good drama, as always. And so House of the Dragon doing kind of what Game of Thrones maybe did best, and just doing it in rapid fire kind of succession, very quickly. Not like, a lot of times it would take us a whole season to get to stuff like this in the original Game of Thrones. In House of the Dragon, it feels like the pedal is to the metal, it's to the floor, really fast pace for this one with time skips and everything. So that's my review for this episode, The Princess and the Queen, another awesome one. And leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about time skip and everything, and how you're feeling as we're getting more through the first season, getting closer to the end with 10 episodes. So comments below. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another Trev saying peace later, guys. See you soon.